Hi, this is Vicki from Grammy Bee's Junk Journal. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to do a little craft with me video, and I've been wanting to get out my box of vintage pictures, and today I said today is the day. So I wanted to make a few tags. I have some journals coming up, and I wanted to start making some different things to include in them. So I thought I would show you what I made and then show you how I made it in case you might want to make one of your own. Now, you definitely do not have to use vintage photos. You can use any kind of photos or just images from a book, any kind of book or magazine. I just am working with my vintage photos. I have a whole box of them from a few different auctions and estate sales. I've put them all in a box, and also in that box is this scrapbook that I got from an estate sale, and most of the pictures are 1942, 1943. So I'm going to pull a picture from here today for the project that we're going to do together. So this is a journaling card tag. It's pocket as well. So it is created, first of all, it's created with 2 pieces of cardstock. Okay, that's what it is. This is the base. This is folded in half. So this is the base. So if you wanted this to float in your journal, like if you just wanted it to be clipped in, this is a perfect spot for journaling. You could glue this right onto a page on the front of your signature. That would be great as well. So I have taken one of those pieces of cardstock and I have folded it in half, and I have created a journaling spot with it, and I've left it open in the back for a pocket. So we have a nice big pocket, nice big journaling spot or photos. And then on the front is your embellishments. So I have just tucked in this I'm gonna guess it's a 42, 43 postcard. I believe it's a German postcard, during wartime. So that was one of my hauls. So I'm gonna put that in there. Perfect spot for your journaling. And then on the front, this is a little girl from 1942. I took her from this album, and I've just done a collage, a layered collage on the front of this and sewed around it. So I'm going to point out the different layers. So we have the back layer, and then we have some book page right here. The next layer is the colored, and that came from a book that I'm going to share with you. And then I put a piece of lace, and then the photo. I've sewn around this. I've sewn around the whole card, and then I've sewn around the big card. Then for this, I just used some stamps and stamped a little bit on the background. And then I inked up all around the edges of everything. So very easy to do. And really you can just, get your stash out and use what you have. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to put this right there. First thing we're going to do is find a photo from this scrapbook. This was in a box that I got from an auction, and it's mostly 1942 and 1943. So I'm looking for a photo that's going to go on the front of this. Okay. So what is that, about 2.5 inches by maybe 4, something like that. So I believe, oh, here we go. This is perfect. That's just the perfect size that I'm looking for. So I guess I can flip through this. This, was just an estate sale, passed down through the generations, and nobody wanted it. So I was very thankful to get it, and we'll be using the photos and lots of different projects. So anyways, it's not in great shape, but the photos that are here are great. And I honestly have not even gone through the entire book. I actually just pulled it out of the box today and said, today's the day. So we'll get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to use this photo. That is going to go right in the middle. This is going to be the background, which is right here. And then this is going to be this right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold this in half. Now you could get your bone folder out if you want, or just use your fingers to press that down. I am going to round the corners a little bit. And I did not fold that very good. Oh boy, let me grab my scissors. I did not think I was going to need my scissors. So look at that, I did not do a good job there, but that's okay. Everything is fixable. Just trim it up, cut that point off, and then that is going to be glued right there, okay? This will eventually get put right there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and trim up the corners a little bit, just to give them a little rounded edge there. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ink everything up right now. And right now I am just using the Distressed Ink Vintage Photo. Excuse me. Seems like I always get a frog when I turn record on. I'm gonna go ahead and while I have this, I'm just gonna ink this all up. Now you do not need to do this. Since I'm using vintage photos, I just want to make sure everything is inked up really good. But you definitely don't need to do this. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this up as well. Actually, I do need to trim the corners first. I've had this box of photos for quite a while. I did make some ephemera and I did make a video a while back. But after that video, I just put it away and I never got back into it. And I just told myself, nope, I got to get it back out. Okay, so everything is inked up. And now I want to do some background. I want to put something on the background. So if you look at this, I just didn't want it plain, just a solid plain. So there's different things that you can use. Now you can use stamps. So I've used butterflies and some flowers. You could use stencils, any kind of stencils. Now I just grabbed a few out and I think I'm going to go ahead and use this stencil first. I also, could just do this. There's lots of things that you could do with this. You could actually just leave it just blank. You could collage on it. But for this project, I'm just going to use one of my stencils. Anything is going to be great. Anything is going to be great. So I'm just going to use the same Distress ink. You could use any colors you want, but I'm kind of trying to stay with the vintage vibe here. So I think that should be good enough. Yep, that's just fine. Now, that's going to end up going there. So let's see, the next thing. So if you wanted to do any background, like stencils or stamps or anything, it might be a good time to do it right now if if you wanted to, but you certainly don't have to. I am going to go ahead and choose a picture. This is the book that I've done several videos using these books. I just picked them up at thrift stores. The images are great. All of the pictures in here are really colorful, very pretty. This background, I loved this because it had the little butterflies with the little girl. I thought that was very cute. This was part of that. I think I'm gonna just, to be a little bit different here, I'm gonna try to, let's see, choose a different page. I've used tons of these pictures in here. I love that. Love that, love that. Let's see. I don't know. I like that, I think. All right, so what's the back? Well, I'm just going to tear it out. I'll get this out of the way. So then you just have to decide, do I want this side? I think I want this side because there's more color. And then I'm just going to kind of tear it so it will fit in that spot. Sometimes you have to tear a little bit more, to make it fit, and that's actually going to be just fine. So I want to go ahead and ink those edges up. And sometimes I like to put some ink in the middle, like if the picture itself is too bright. Sometimes I just, will go. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that little stop in the video. My husband opened the door to the studio and I had to shoo him on out. So back to this. Okay. All right. So we have the background. We have this. We have this. We need to get some text behind the flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and this is just a page from an old book that I'm not using, but I love to use up the text for it. And I'm just tearing it to kind of get the size of the front. Now, I typically use children's book pages for this because I do not read the text that I'm putting on here. So I know that I'm usually pretty safe as far as, bad words or anything like that. If I use a children's book page, then I know I should be good and not have to worry about what's on that text. So if you noticed, I just put a little ink in the middle just to kind of give it a little bit of color. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And I am using the PVA liquid glue. I usually get this from Amazon, and it's usually in a large bottle. And then I put it in little bottles like this, and I also get these from Amazon. They seem to work pretty good for me. The only complaint I would have is it dries very quickly, so you have to hurry up. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue on here and then get this down quickly. And then this will go just like that. Okay. Now we're going to have this woman right here. We're going to put her just like that. All right, now I have a piece of lace that I'm going to put behind the picture, and I'm going to put her right on top like that. So for that, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I like to use Fabri-Tac whenever I am needing to glue any kind of ribbon, lace, fabric. Fabri-Tac is very, very strong. but this is another one that you have to quickly get that lid on because it kind of will start to explode out of the top. So, but it is very strong for sure, and it does dry very quickly. Now, typically I wouldn't put it on the picture, but since the picture is going on lace, then I do use the fabric tack for the picture as well. So I'm just going to put that right in the center. Okay, then it's going to be time to go ahead and sew. Now, you do not have to sew. You definitely do not. If you like to sew, if you have a sewing machine, this might be a good time to do that. Now, this, we're gonna sew. So what I did is I sewed around the hole outside, then I sewed down the middle so it would show right here, and then you want to sew around the outside of that. Now, if you don't have a sewing machine or you just don't like to sew, you could get a marker or a pencil or some kind of something to write with, and you could make those dashes around so it kind of looks like it. You could zigzag with a pen or marker, or do absolutely nothing, and that would be just fine as well. So I am gonna do that, but before I do that, I don't know. I'm debating if I want anything else on that. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go ahead and ink that inside up before I sew it. I think I'm gonna add maybe a butterfly or a flower to the inside of this. So I think I'll go ahead and do that before I take it to the sewing machine. And I have my little block here. I have some stamps. I get some of the stamps from Amazon, from Hobby Lobby, Joann's. I've gotten some from Joann's. Let's see. First of all, I think I want the butterfly. I'm going to go ahead. I don't want to introduce any new colors to this, so I'm going to go ahead and use that Distress ink. Now I'm going to stamp off because I don't want it really dark. I just want it to barely show like that. Okay. And do I want any words? No, I don't think I want any words for this. We'll just leave it like that, but I've added a little butterfly, so that gives it something, right? Okay, I'm gonna go do my sewing and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I finished the sewing. So what I did is I just sewed a regular stitch around. I did leave the thread links just because I think that looks kind of neat. And then I did the zigzag all the way around the outside, and then I did it down the middle. So not quite in the middle, a little bit over so that it's on the edge of this. And I did also leave the threads there. So now if you look, we are very close to being done. Now this has the pocket on the back. You wouldn't have to do that, but I wanted that pocket. So what you're going to want to do is glue here and here, and I just used the PVA glue and it worked very well. Just like that. Now remember, this dries very quickly, and oh no. Okay, that one needs a pen to unplug it. So we'll try this one. There we go. Okay, it dries very quickly. So the last time I used that one, obviously I didn't put the top on fast enough. But that's no big deal. I just use a pen and I put the pen down and then it unclogs it. So I put glue down the middle and down the bottom, and that's going to leave the top open. And then I'm just gonna make sure my threads are out of the way, and I'm gonna press. It dries very quickly. I'm gonna open it up and just kind of press like this. Now we have our pocket right there. You have your space here for journaling or photos. Maybe you want to put another little photo here and then journal about it. Maybe you want to glue this right to one of your pages or maybe the front of your signature. You could even do this, put it right on the front of your journal. That would be a great cover to your journal. Or, you know, you can do your journaling on here. You can put a photo and then just clip it to one of your pages. So I'll borrow this postcard and then we're going to slide it right in there. And then that would be all ready to go. So I'm going to have to tie those down so it lays nicely. Otherwise, they'll drive me crazy if they're up. But you could even put some beads or buttons, or, I mean, you could just embellish this so it looks beautiful. So anyways, I just wanted to give you an idea. Oh, no, one more thing. I got these little pearls out. That's right. I can't let you go until I get these pearls laid. So I got these pearls at a thrift store someplace, and I just thought maybe I could kind of like, you know, drape it. And she just looks like she needs some pearls. So I am just going to, let's see. I think maybe like just from the top and down like this, maybe. I don't think it's going to matter. I think just adding a little bit of this is going to be great. I don't think I want it that long. I'm just going to see how it does. So I'm going to just kind of wing it, but I did want to add those pearls because she looks like she needs some pearls on her. So I think I'm going to hopefully end up just kind of framing her, and maybe not straight, maybe just kind of like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. Can I get it? There. I just wanted it to kind of drape on her photo. Just a little drape on her photo, just to give it a little bit of a bling. Now we're gonna have to add, oh, that glue. I love this Fabri-Tac, but it sure is sticky. Sticky and gummy. All right, I just kind of wanted to go like this. But now I'm looking, you know, she might need something right there. I mean, you can just add and add and add, or if you don't like it, you can take it away. I mean, I'm thinking I might end up adding a flower or something down here at the corner. I don't know, but I do like the pearls. Let's see. Should I do anything with that? Maybe I'll just frame the whole picture. I could do that. All right, let's try that. Maybe I shouldn't have cut it. My vision, my first vision was just to kind of drape it and kind of weave it, and I don't know what I was thinking, but we'll just kind of go like this. Kind of framing that picture. That I'm thinking I might like that. Let's see. All right, let's see if I can cut this. Sorry, but I am just totally winging this. So, but you know, that's what we do when we create. We just kind of go with what we feel like, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, with this kind of stuff, you can always fix it. You can add things, you can take things away, you can cover things up. You just work on it until you get it exactly how you want it. And I'm thinking this isn't perfect, but I'm thinking I really like the pearls framing that picture of her. Let's see, is it gonna stay? Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more glue maybe to that. But there you go. I think I like that. I think the pearls gave it just a little boost and a little bling there. I've got stickiness on my fingers. I'm going to let that dry. And there you go. So you have a journaling spot in the underneath here. I don't want to move it too much. You've got a pocket here. Now you could even add glue to the back of this and here, glue it onto a page, and then you would have another pocket back here. So there are lots of different possibilities to this. I just wanted to give you an idea. So there you go. A great way to use up some scraps, the books, the text from old books, old photos if you have them. You could definitely use just scrap paper for this. You could use newspapers, bags, lots of different things that you could use just in your stash. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope maybe some ideas that you can take and use in your own journals. Thanks a lot for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.